So I was just about to start shooting a reconstruction video when I realized I don't have one single utility knife in the studio. I don't have a single utility knife at home anymore. Now, X-Acto knives, razor blades, stuff like that, I got tons of that, but I don't have an actual utility knife. So I figured I should go to Home Depot and pick one up. Then I thought, why not pick up 5? Why not figure out the 5 best knives that are available from Home Depot? Sure, okay. I could go to Amazon. I could order them off Amazon. I could order them off HomeDepot.com. I could order them. But what are the best 5 knives that are available inside the store that you can walk into the store on a moment's notice and pick up something that is of quality? So the criteria for this is going to be really easy. It's going to be, how accessible is the knife? Can it come in and out of your pocket easy? Does it need to sit in a holster? Is the blade easily changeable? Which means, can you change it either with one hand or in less than 10 seconds? Is it one of those knives? And how's the quality of the actual build of the knife? Is it cheap? Is it cheap machined? Is it pressed together? What is it? So let's go down to Home Depot. Let's figure out what they have. All right, here's the thing. We're gonna walk. See that road down there? Home Depot is about 2 miles down there. I need to get out. It could start raining. I need to do a review of this coat. This is the Helly Hansen Chelsea jacket. So if it starts raining, we're in luck. Sound good? Okay, let's get going. There goes the Metro. As always, living in the city, it's always a training. I bought 6 knives, not 5, but I'm gonna do the top 5. Bought 6 just because I'm really unsure with 2 of them because they're so similar. But let's go back to the studio. Let's open them up and let's take a really good look at them and see what is the best 5 knives you can buy at Home Depot in a pinch. All right, now that we're back in the studio, let's see what I picked up, all right? Yes, I got 6 knives, not 5, but the 6th knife, we're not even gonna talk about it. As I was walking up to the studio, 2 of my buddies were driving by, they honked the horn. They're 2 drywallers. I walked over to the truck, started talking with them, I told them what I was doing. I asked them what they had in their pockets, and they actually showed me this whisk. And they both said simultaneously at the same exact time, it's a piece of crap. So we're not even going to talk about this one. We're not even going to examine this one. All right. Now the first one is a Stanley Quick Slide. Now this is a very basic old style utility knife. It's a single piece handle, but this black part that is going to hold the clip is only held on by one Phillips head screw. Just listen to that. The pocket clip is already starting to make a noise. It already has some movement in there. So going in and out of your pocket all day long, eventually that screw is going to fail and the thing's just going to, the functionality of having that thing in your pocket is just going to go away and it's going to become just another knife in your toolbox. Now, it does have that carabiner on the back, which is a wire, which is just off a displaced wiring carabiner system, which you find on real cheap carabiners. So that too is gonna break. Taking a knife in and out, yeah, it's like any other utility knife. It's just very basic and it's very, in my opinion, it's a very poor design, especially for something that is made in USA. I expected more from Made in USA, but given the price point on this piece is only running, yeah, $4.70 for this. So at $4.70, I guess it's just under a Finsky. It's all right. Let's move on to the next one. So the next one is this Dewalt. Now, it opens really nicely. The blade slides up real nice. It's a thumb release. Now, when you're putting a blade inside here, there's a little button on the side. You have to press the thumb release to the top, which allows you to push the blade all the way down to the cancellation point so it locks into place with the little spaces in the back. For this model, the blade has to be retracted all the way in order to close. And closing this is a liner lock. And it's not the heaviest piece of metal on that liner lock. And given the fact that I've seen a lot of cheap liner locks fail on a lot of cheap knives, eventually that's going to fail too. But this too, being what it is and being the price it is for what it is, it's probably not that bad, especially if you just want something in your pocket. The clip is very heavy. It's a very thick and heavy clip. That's probably the nicest thing about it. Now, one of the other drawbacks is it's held together with 2 Torx screws. One Torx screw is holding the blade in place on a shaft, and the other one is holding the butt together. Both of those Torx screws, 2 different head sizes. From an engineering standpoint, why can't you make all the screws inside a knife or utility knife or anything all the same size? Especially on something like this that is going to be in a guy's pocket. I understand using Torx on knives and utility tools that you get a better grip, that you can get more torque put into it so it can tighten down properly. But when we're talking about something that's going to be utilitarian, shouldn't this type of fitting, the type of screw head, be something that is more utilitarian? Shouldn't that just be a Phillips head, maybe a nice deep, well-machined screw in there so it doesn't strip out, something that's a little bit harder metal? Probably would be a better design point. So the next one in line is a Milwaukee Fastback, and this is the one that is actually shaped like a pocket knife, like a nice 3-inch pocket knife. Now, I like the Milwaukee ones because they are the same thickness as a pocket knife. They open like a pocket knife. A little button that's not spring activated. It's on a shaft. It's on a very nice shaft. It's got some washers in there so it moves around really nicely. Opens and closes like a dream. Now, getting the blade in and out of this one, just like the Dewalts and just like all of these new knives, push button on the back. You slide the blade down to where it needs to be. It locks in place. There's a little play in the blade, a little movement, which, you know, I kind of unsure of, but once it's in there nice and tight. That play isn't really going to get in the way. Closing, it stays, the blade is exposed at all time. It doesn't retract, so it's always ready to go. When you open it, the blade is there. In the hand, it fits really nice. You can get really close to that blade. It has all kinds of curves in order to get a comfortable, good grip on it, so you can actually push down and work with it close to the blade for more detailed work. If your hand's back beyond there, you got a lot of beef there, so you can really dig into something and put a lot of downward pressure and cut. It's a pretty nice design. Only has a blade, is the only thing this thing does. The pocket clip is a nice, heavy pocket clip. Nicer than most. This Fastback is held together with Torx. The whole body of it is held together with Torx. The shaft that holds the blade is the same size torque as the body torque. So all the torques are the exact same size. So it's only one tool that you need to tighten down the body. Now, if you had to tighten down the body on the blade section, that's held down by Phillips head, very small micro Phillips heads. So that might not be something you have in your collection. The pocket clip is held down also by a Phillips head, but that's a common size Phillips head. So that's not bad. Almost looks like a square drive too would fit in there, which I wouldn't find surprising with Milwaukee lately, that they've been doing a lot of stuff using square drives in places. I like that. So next up is this Dewalt, and this Dewalt is a lot of metal. This is a heavy, heavy piece. The style number on this, or the model number, so you know which one I'm talking about, because there's no names on the Dewalt products, and all the Dewalt products are all made in the USA. Or I should say, all these Dewalt knives that I picked up, both of these, they're both made in USA, which was kind of a factor on why I picked them up. I wanted to see how the craftsmanship was on the US made pocket utility knives. So this model number, DWHT10296, that's what this one's called. Now this is more like a nice big utility knife. It sits in the hand real nice. The blade is retracted with a thumb release. The metal on it, it's about the same quality as what you would find in any other utility knife. There's nothing outstanding here. Now this is held together with torque screws again and 2 different size Torx. Blade storage is in the back, so you can store your blades up to, looks like you could hold up to 3 blades back there easily, plus one in the knife. Not bad. Now the thing about all these is it's going to take 2 hands to replace the blades, which isn't the worst thing in the world because you should be careful when you're replacing the blades. It's probably something you don't want to do blindly. But in this Dewalt, when the blade is in there, not a lot of play. There is some play, but there's not a lot. And if you're working really close and you need to do some detailed cutting, it has these rubberized pads that are on each side of the blade, and it has a thumb rubberized pad that's got a little texture to it right up in there. So that is actually pretty nice if you have to do some detailed cutting. Some of the bad parts about this thing's heavy. This thing is really heavy. This thing's got a lot of bulk to it. And it also has a liner lock inside there. So the mechanism that's holding this thing open, I don't really trust it. It's put in the right spot, and the spot that's holding the liner lock in place actually has a chamfered angle to it, so it's staying in the right place. And I would imagine after some time of using this one, that opening and closing would become more of a one-hand process. As it is right now, brand new, this thing does not open and close nicely. It really takes some work. You got to use 2 hands. You got to open it like a real knife. Also, will not close with the blade out. Every time you take the time to open it, you have to then push the blade up to extend it and push the blade down to retract it. Heavy. The clip on this one is horrible. It's so thin. It is just ready to break off. And that's probably going to be the first thing that's going to break if the whole thing doesn't fall apart first, is that clip. And now this brings us to this Milwaukee Fastback. There is no name on this one, but the style number is 4822-1903. Out of all of them, this is my favorite. This is my favorite one because the way it opens, one hand open, one hand closed. The blade is always going to be out and ready to go when you open it, like a real knife. The shape of the handle is like a real knife also. Nice placement for your front finger. Back fingers fall in line real nice. Nice grooves at the top so your thumb, even if your thumb is beat up and covered in guck, no matter what it is, it can still get some texture on there so you can still dig in. The way this one fits in the hand is also really, really nice. Now the pocket clip is a wire. Not a big fan of the wire all the time, but this is a pretty heavy duty piece of stainless steel wire, and it looks like it was bent really nicely. And it's a piece of wire. This is something that you can recreate with just stuff that you got laying around. You can find a hard piece of wire and bend one if you needed to. Taking the blade on and out, one single button. It goes in nice and smooth, locks into place. A little bit of movement like all of them, but it's a nice smooth locking mechanism. It comes out really nice and smooth. You can feel that it's staying in place. It clicks into place also when you know that it's in its place. On the bottom of the blade, there is a wire stripper section, so you can actually strip wire with this, which is invaluable. That's a wonderful little section to have in there. When it is closed, it sits in the pocket really nice. It doesn't take up that much space. It's kind of long for a knife, and you might not, in comparison to the other one, you can see that it's a much longer knife. But on the back, you've got a cutter back here, whether you want to call this a seat belt cutter or if you want to call it a belt cutter. Now there is enough space that your finger could get stuck in there and you could cut your finger, but the likelihood of that happening is slim to none. So out of all 5 of the knives that I picked up at Home Depot today, this Milwaukee Fastback, this is my favorite one, and this is the one I'm going to keep. Now the Milwaukee products, these utility knives from them, they're not made in the USA. And yeah, it's a drawback. And when you think about the Dewalts, made in USA, but they're just not practical. They just don't work for what I need them to. They're just not the right shape. They're not the right size. They don't have the texture to them that I want to feel in a cutting tool that's in my hand. So Milwaukee wins. So what utility knife do you use? Please comment below, let me know what you think about my selection here from Home Depot. If you feel they're all crap, please let me know. Tell me what you think is better when it comes to a basic folding utility knife that can sit in your pocket. Hey, if you're interested in seeing some of the detailed photos of these utility knives, swing by thebootguy.com. I will have all those pictures compiled into one blog posting titled 5 Utility Knives. Hey, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button below. It really helps out. And remember, if you're on Instagram or Twitter, to follow me there all week long. I find interesting boots. I get some interesting clothing from the companies, and I even get some interesting tools from time to time, just so we can talk about them. Hey, if you're about to pick up one of these utility knives and you got a few questions about it, feel free to shoot me over an email. All right, until the next time, I'm the Boot Guy doing a review on utility knives. Yeah. I'll see you later. Thank you.